Hello, everybody, and welcome to another episode of Insufficient Friends. I'm Kevin. She's Nikki.
Hi.
And, Nick, happy 4th of July. We are recording
Happy
this
4th of July.
on Independence Day. Not, luckily, the one from the movie. There's not aliens attacking and blowing up the White House. But it is Independence Day. The happy wavy flag fireworks one. Which is what we're going to be talking about, but we'll get to that here in a minute. So how was your week?
It was good. So I have a couple things
Okay.
to talk about
Okay.
before we get to our topic today.
Okay.
So first, it was our wedding anniversary. So we went to Herman like we do every year. And
Okay.
I love Herman
Yes.
so much. It's such a cute little town. I would never want to live there because it's like too
Tiny.
small.
Yeah.
But oh my gosh, it's so cute to go get lunch, go walk the antique shops and boutiques.
Yeah.
This is the first time, okay, this is the first time this entire year I have left the house for something fun that I planned and went shopping. I haven't been shopping all year, which is
That's pretty good.
crazy.
That's pretty good.
Yeah. So
We're 7
I
months in.
didn't. Yeah. So with all the stuff we've had going on, family wise and house building and everything, like I realized we had not done anything fun that we chose to do ourselves this year. So it was nice to plan a day we took our friends Tyler and Ashley with us.
Yeah.
But it was nice to I planned it for us, which was crazy.
Nice.
And I got to go shopping.
Yeah.
And bought antiques and records and things that I like that Casey doesn't. So it was good. And we tried Adampukta, the winery. Have you ever been there?
No, I haven't been to any of the wineries out there.
I didn't think so.
Mm-mm.
So they are so cute. They're their oldest. They're the oldest winery in the United States that's run by the same family. They're on this 8th generation now, I think, 7th or 8th generation.
Okay.
There's wineries in the United States that are older,
Yeah.
but not that have been run by the same family.
Okay.
So
Interesting.
that was fascinating. We did a guided tasting with charcuterie and everything. I think our guide's name was Maria. She was so nice, so knowledgeable. Anyways, it was just really fun. And Tyler and Ashley loved that winery because they house a lot of stray cats.
Oh, okay.
They have so many cats. One of the generations, a couple generations back, was known to be a animal rescuer, and he loved cats specifically. And so I guess it's just known in town that this winery, if you have a cat to drop off, or I don't know, they have so many stray cats that they spay or neuter them. They, give them food and water. They stay inside at night. So they roam during the day, but stay inside at night.
Huh.
It was just the cutest little thing. So we decided that that's going to be our new spot to go every year.
Nice. That sounds like fun. Yeah.
So fun. And then this didn't happen this week yet, but I want this to happen this week.
We're manifesting.
I want to go see I'm manifesting. I want to go see the new Jurassic Park movie.
Yes.
Have you seen it?
I have not. It just came out a couple days ago. I do want to go
Yeah.
see it. It's probably going to be several weeks before I get to go see it. But
Yeah.
I do want to go see it.
Yes, it looks so good. And also Jonathan Bailey. So cute. I want to go see it this weekend. I think we're going to go see it this weekend. I'm sure I can convince Casey because he likes the Jurassic Park series.
It's Jurassic Park, Jurassic World, whatever. It's all the same
I
thing.
won't tell him that the reason I want to see it is Jonathan Bailey.
I mean, it's also got Scarlett Johansson in it, so, it's got...
ScarJo. I also love... Jurassic Park is one of my favorite books. Mm-hmm. And I've always liked the movies and everything. So
have I ever asked
really
you? Well, I already know the answer to this because it's a movie. But I don't know if you ever watched the TV show that came out a few years ago. Have you ever seen Westworld? Any of the show, either the show or the movie?
I've seen clips. I've seen clips that you've sent me.
Okay, because it's it was also a well, it was based on a movie, but it
Hmm.
was done by Michael Crichton, who was the writer of Jurassic Park. So
Oh yeah.
I didn't know if you'd ever, if you knew that, or
Hmm.
if you'd ever seen the movie or any of it.
No, I didn't know that, but
Okay.
that's interesting. Yeah, I love Jurassic Park. I think the first time I read it was in high school, and then I reread it again after college, and I love that book.
Yeah, it's. I mean,
Yeah.
I don't know that I've ever read the book all the way through. I have it. It's over there somewhere
Mhm.
on the shelf of many books.
Yeah, I'm
Uh,
gonna sound hoity-toity when I say this, but I truly think the book is better than the movie,
is
and
there
you
a
should read the book.
is there ever a book that's not better than the movie?
I'm sure there is. I can't think of
Usually
one.
the book is. See, it's the I feel like most of the time a book is, there's so much more you can put into a book,
Hmm.
into words, that you can't really get into a movie. Like, you can't get into a two and a
Yes.
half hour,
It's
three
so
hour thing.
descriptive.
Yeah.
I feel like when you watch movies, obviously they do an amazing job most of the
Yeah.
time of the soundtrack. I mean, Jurassic Park, obviously the soundtrack is amazing.
Well, that's because of
But
John Williams. We had a whole episode on John Williams, where we talked about John
yeah.
Williams, I think, one
Hmm.
episode. So,
Yes. Yeah. But still the book creates emotions and
mhm.
tension and everything just in such a different way that you feel even more like you're, there.
Yeah.
I don't know. I don't know if that's the right way to describe it, but you know what I mean? Like it's just it's so good.
Yeah. It can immerse you a certain way
Yes.
that, I mean, movies can too, when you go to like a theater and you hear the sounds and everything else. But for some reason,
Mhm.
books can just, I don't know. It's something about them. But
Yeah.
um,
Hmm.
yeah.
Yeah.
I My week was normal. I didn't really
Hmm.
do anything.
Hmm.
It's been a week. So,
Yeah. Oh, I have one more thing.
oh yeah,
Um, So Paracon
yeah,
for next year,
uh huh,
they have been announcing like once a week they'll announce speakers
okay,
and like guests,
yeah,
celebrity guests that are coming. Um Jay Wasley from Ghost Adventures, who is my favorite person on
okay,
Ghost Adventures.
yeah,
Sorry, Zach Bagans. Um, I love him so much. He was announced as a speaker. So
nice,
I had been putting off buying tickets. Like, we're obviously going to go, but I
yeah.
had just been putting off buying
But
tickets.
now we're
And
buying
today I
tickets.
was like, I bought him this
You
morning
bought him. Okay, yeah. I was gonna
once
say
I saw that.
you bought him immediately
Yeah.
as soon as you saw that he was. Yeah, that sounds about right.
Yes.
Yeah. Okay. Actually, that brings me to shout outs. We had
Hmm.
one shout out on YouTube again. The guys over at Creeps, who you met at Paracon or met you at Paracon, they
Yay.
did
Hmm.
comment again for us. Thank you guys. They
Hmm.
commented on the shout out that we gave them last week.
This is like
It's
Inception.
like, yeah, it just keeps going around in a circle. Is what it seems like now. On the fact that you said that you were glad that somebody learned from us, and they told us basically to just keep going because
That's
they
funny.
think it's yeah. So, and
Yeah.
also you said you saw Mariah this week, right?
Well, I didn't get to see her, but she was in
She was in Kansas
town
City.
for
Okay,
fire extinguisher
fire
business. Yeah.
extinguisher business. I told you the story about, I tell it on here. I talked about almost burning my apartment down, or not really
Yes.
almost burning my apartment down, but starting a fire in my apartment. So
Yeah.
I got this in the other day, and there's two of them because I don't want to have another fire in my apartment. But
Hmm.
I thought of you just a minute ago, and Mariah, and telling you that the whole, like, how you use the thing.
Yeah.
There are instructions on the fire extinguisher. They're right here on the side, and it says it. It says pull, aim, squeeze, and sweep. So it does tell you. That comes with a little booklet too that tells you the same thing, and it says pass on it, big, big, big letters. So
I'm
yeah.
blind, Kev.
Um,
I've never learned it. I've never seen
this
it.
these yeah, it's a good idea to have. Really, probably one on each floor of your house. I would say one in the kitchen, probably another one in downstairs. Yeah, one on each floor of your
Noted. I'll do
house.
that for the new house.
Yeah, it's a good
We don't have one
idea,
in Nathan's house.
but they're also not that expensive. I think I bought a package of two for like $40. So, like, it's just a good idea to have them.
Well,
That way you don't burn your house down. You know.
yeah.
But anyway,
Noted.
speaking of burning your house down, this week we're talking about fireworks. Notable thing that actually burns a lot of houses down every year. Um,
Yeah.
yeah. Um, so, Nick, fireworks. It's the 4th of July. There's a lot of fireworks around. I will
Yeah.
say, um, I don't know about Kansas City. I know in Columbia they're illegal in city limits. Like you're not allowed to shoot them off in city
Mm.
limits. Um, and there's a lot of cities that have those rules. Uh,
Yeah.
but I
I don't know how Kansas City is. I know our neighborhood is a fireworks free neighborhood. There's like signs
mhm,
at the front of the neighborhood when you enter. They're like American flag signs and they say fireworks free neighborhood. And it says like it's because of the number of vets
okay,
and
yeah,
animals and senior citizens and things. So, but I definitely heard fireworks, but it could have been, I mean, there's neighborhoods on either side of
yeah.
us too. So,
I've heard
yeah.
them here at my apartment complex and I know they're here because it's too close to be anywhere else. There's not that many
Hmm.
houses around that are close because this is a relatively large apartment complex. And
Hmm.
these were too close to hear them. The one thing I don't understand, and this is something that I've never really understood, is I
Hmm.
know when I was a kid, we used to shoot off a lot of fireworks. Like we spent stupid.
Yeah.
My dad spent stupid amounts of money on us shooting off fireworks. I am very
Hmm.
thankful that he did that because it was a lot of fun. Like we had a ton of fun
Hmm.
doing it, but we spent stupid amounts of money shooting off fireworks every year.
Hmm.
So I know what a lot of fireworks sound like and like which ones you're using when I hear the sound of them going off. These
Hmm.
were the artillery shell ones, which is the ones that you put in the tube. They go up, they make the big
Yeah.
boom, and they are colorful. Why in God's name are you shooting them off at 1 o'clock in the afternoon? Because you can't see what they look like
Can't
at one
see
o'clock in
him.
the afternoon. You're just
Yeah.
getting a big thud and a boom, and that's it. There is no
Hmm.
colorfulness at 1 o'clock in the afternoon. It's too
Yeah.
sunny. It's way too sunny. And I
Hmm.
just don't but I hear them.
And also, it is hot. So,
Yeah.
A, it's sunny. B, it's hot
Yeah.
as all get
Yeah.
out. Why are you outside
I
doing
don't
that
know.
right now?
I don't know. I'm sure it's kids probably. I don't know.
Hmm.
It may not be. It may be adults. There's some crazy people out, but
Yeah.
I don't understand shooting off fireworks at
I
one
don't
o'clock in the
understand them.
afternoon.
And like, I am a notorious fireworks hater. I even so we went to the Royals game the other day
Mm-hmm.
and the Royals do a Friday night fireworks.
Okay. Yeah.
And we stayed to watch them because my parents wanted to stay and watch. But I'm like, I don't see the point. The music that so this is Royals specifically. The music that they chose to go along with the fireworks was not good. So I'm like, okay, it's not even like exciting or hype. It was just kind of boring
Yeah.
because I already don't like them. But also, like, we'll talk about this later in the episode too. I know you're going to talk about the environment. My animals hate them,
Yeah.
so that means I don't sleep. It's just like, but even since I was little, I never liked them. And I was 5 or 6 and I burned my stomach with a
Oh.
sparkler
Yeah.
because I'm an idiot. But I don't know. I've always been a fireworks hater. I don't like to go out and celebrate 4th of July. I don't like to see fireworks. I just like to stay home. So that's where I'm coming from, my point of view for this
That makes
episode.
sense. I like fireworks to a certain extent. Like
Mhm.
I don't really want to shoot them off anymore because as I've gotten older, I understand and realize that they're extremely dangerous. I always knew that they were dangerous, and
Yeah.
we always treated
Inexpensive.
them like they're dangerous. They're very
Yeah.
expensive, and
Yeah.
it. Yeah, I mean, when you're shooting them off by yourself, to me, it's not as fun. I would rather
Yeah.
go watch them be shot off with music somewhere.
Hmm.
Um, but at like the Royals or something, I don't know how they really do it. I'm
Hmm.
when I think of a fireworks display, I think of like when you watch the Macy's one or something on television where they have planned it out for
Mm.
like 6 months and they've lined them up to be with the music. Like something
Yeah.
like that where it's like, okay, this is a cool idea.
Hmm.
But we'll get into more of that, whatever.
Yeah.
Um,
Yeah.
but anyway,
So as much as I don't like fireworks,
Mm-hmm.
I love history.
Yeah.
So I looked up the history of fireworks, then we'll talk about the 4th of July and then some modern day things. But
Because they've been around for a
um
long time.
yes.
Long, long,
So
long time.
this is from American Pyrotechnics Association.com.
Mm-hmm.
So hopefully accurate.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. I got
Um
some facts from them too.
many yeah. Many historians believe that fireworks originally were developed in the 2nd century BC in ancient Liang, China. Again, I'm probably gonna, like everything in this podcast, I probably mispronounced that.
Yep.
I sincerely apologize.
Yep.
But in China,
We are insufficient.
we are very insufficient. It is believed that the first firecrackers, that's in air quotes, were bamboo stalks that,
Mm-hmm.
when thrown into a fire, would explode because of the overheating of the air pockets of the bamboo or something. And so this was actually cool. I didn't know this. Well, I didn't know a lot of this, but um, the Chinese believed that these firecrackers would ward off evil spirits. And I love my,
That
spirit history.
that I guess makes sense. Like that kind of makes sense. Like the
Hmm.
noises and the like explosions. Like I get it. Kind of makes sense. I
Yeah.
guess. Yeah.
Yeah.
Hmm.
Some cultures do like bells and wind
Yeah.
chimes. Apparently China did firecrackers. Like I feel like everyone has their own sound or, legend kind of like that. But anyways, 600 to 900 AD. So this is a legend according to this website, but it says legend has it that a Chinese alchemist mixed potassium nitrate, sulfur, and charcoal to produce the first gunpowder. And then the powder was poured into a bamboo stick, and that was the first like official man-made firework.
Mm-hmm. Hmm.
That was interesting.
Yeah.
They
Yeah.
used a bamboo stick.
Yeah.
And then eventually I think they developed like the paper tubes and, things like that
Yeah.
to,
Cardboard and
but
stuff.
yeah. So that was really interesting to me. And then they made their way to Europe in the 13th century and then were used in a lot of like religious and noble ceremonies and things like that by the 15th century. So it says that the Italians were the first Europeans to manufacture fireworks,
Hmm.
but fireworks were all over Europe because they had been brought in
Yeah.
from the Silk Road or some traders or something.
Yeah. Hmm.
I forget the name of it.
The
Is it the
Silk Road
Silk
would.
Road?
Yeah. The Silk Road would make sense. That was the one that
Yeah,
kind of ran
I
from
think
China
that's
and
what it
into
was.
the
I don't have
to the
that
Middle East and
page up
stuff.
that I was looking at, but it says that they were already all over Europe before Italy started manufacturing them.
Hmm.
And I remember watching, my they're not documentaries, my historical dramas and things, and they would show like Versailles, having fireworks shows
Yeah.
and the Royal Palace in England and things. And so I looked that up too. 1664 in Versailles was the first written account, like at Versailles, of having a fireworks show. It was some um, visitor or whatever wrote like a story, did a painting
Hmm.
about it. Um, and then it says the 1700s in England is when fireworks opened up to the public because for a long time they were like
Royal things.
religious
Yeah.
and noble and royal
Yeah.
ceremonies. Yeah.
That makes sense.
So I thought that was interesting. Pretty recent as far as modern day history that they were more opened up to lay people,
Yeah.
normal
The
people.
peasants.
Yeah, peasants.
Yeah.
So that brings me to how did they get to the US? So early US settlers, I'm just reading this website right now, brought their love of fireworks with them to the New World.
Mm.
And then fireworks were part of the very first Independence Day, a tradition that continues. Now, this says they were part of the very first Independence Day, but the first organized fireworks show was in Philadelphia in like the 1800s, I thought. So I don't know if that means like normal people, would shoot off like their own fireworks, but then the first like organized show wasn't until
I wonder if
later
they mean
on.
like the first like what you think of as like maybe the city or something did something or something like
Yeah.
that. But
Yeah. That's kind of what I interpret it as. But
people were people were
um
blowing stuff up in celebration on the first Independence Day.
Yeah.
Shooting off their guns and blowing stuff up, because that's how we be.
Yeah. Yeah. So that kind of brings me to the history of the actual 4th of July is kind of like a subtopic of our fireworks
Yeah.
thing. Because the 4th of July has always been interesting. And I had known this because we visited um, Continental Congress Hall, or whatever it's actually named. But we
In
actually
Philly.
signed, or no, not signed. They voted in favor of independence on July 2nd, 1776.
Yeah, you're talking about
And
Independence Hall in Philly, right?
Independence Hall, yes, thank
Okay.
you. I was trying to think of what it was called.
Yeah.
Yeah, I love Philadelphia, by the way. It was
I've
very fun
never
to visit there. That's
I've never been to Philly. It'd be a fun place to visit,
Yeah,
but I've never been to Philly, so.
it's on my list to go again because my parents took us to a lot of these places when we were like in elementary, middle, and
Hmm.
high school. So I don't remember as much as I would now.
Yeah.
But so it was actually voted for our independence on July 2nd.
Hmm.
And so I think it was John Adams that wrote about it. Yeah. Um, John Adams, he was writing to his wife Abigail in a letter, and he said, July 2nd from here on out will be celebrated by all the generations as the great anniversary festival. And it should include pomp and parade, games, sports, guns, bells, bonfires, and illuminations from one end of this continent to another. And that's not what happened. It was July 4th. So
Yeah.
I always thought
That's
that was
interesting.
funny that it's not, the day that they chose to be
Well, and
our
there's also
Independence Day.
like actually didn't actually happen until like August something too. So it's just there's
Yeah.
a bunch of random dates in there too that just don't, like, none of them
Yeah.
really line up with what is actually
Hmm.
Independence Day. So, or what we we
Yeah.
we use as Independence Day. So, yeah.
Yeah. And I get why they chose July 4th because that's the day it was officially adopted and signed, I think. But
Hmm.
yeah, it's just funny that they were like July 2nd, birth of the nation, and it's not. But so let's see. I don't think I have everything else. Just the first official organized celebration was Philadelphia. There were all over in Yorktown and other cities. They did like what sounds like individual fireworks. Oh, and they held like mock funerals for King George the Third. So there was definitely a lot of like celebrations and fireworks and things, but I don't think the actual organized fireworks celebration came until later.
Okay. Interesting.
Yeah.
Well,
I like how
so
you say interesting and then immediately yawn.
yeah, sorry. I'm just it's it's
I know.
it's noon. I've been up for like already 13, 14 hours, so it's just a habit. Sorry. My bad.
Yeah.
Um so you talked about history of 4th of July and fireworks, and I was given the task of talking about the environmental impact of fireworks and black market fireworks. So the fun side of this, and the side that is could at any point have the FBI
Hey,
kicking down my
yeah, I was
door.
gonna say history's fun to
History's
some
fun.
of
No, no, no.
us.
I was being sarcastic.
Hmm.
I'm getting the fun side by talking about the environmental impact. So I'm the downer
Yeah.
in this case, and also the one that is now probably on 4 or 5 lists at the
Yeah.
federal offices at the ATF
For
and the
Googling these
FBI
things.
for googling black market
If your
fireworks and
FBI
things.
agent is listening on your
Yeah,
phone,
yeah,
Kevin is not
yeah.
going to
So,
cause any harm.
um, yeah. So, one of the uh we'll start with the black market fireworks things, because you can kind of lead into the environmental impacts from that.
Mhm.
So the what I it's hard to find like numbers, because
Mhm.
you can't
It's
really
black
easily
market.
search black market fireworks. It's not that easy to do. Um, but I did find a couple reports. So there this year
Mhm.
on New Year's Eve, so I guess end of last year, whatever. There was a fireworks explosion in Hawaii that killed 5 people and injured 20. So this
Oh
is
wow.
why fireworks are there are a lot of illegal fireworks. They're the main
Yeah.
reason that they're illegal, or that a lot of them, there are a lot of regulations, is because they're really freaking dangerous. There's a
Mm-hmm.
lot of the CPSC came into place in the 1970s. Before there wasn't very many regulations. They used to put
Mm-hmm.
lead and all kinds of other random chemicals and materials into them. So whenever the CPSC was created, they started cracking down. This was one of the first things that they really started cracking down on, and it's because of
Interesting.
how dangerous they are. And what I could find was one of the issues that they had, one of the other issues that they had, besides all the random materials, was fuses. They would
Mm-hmm.
either burn so fast that as soon as you lit them, they went off, or they were so slow that you would light them, leave, come back because you didn't think you thought it was a dud, and then it would blow up in your face. So they did a bunch of,
Yikes.
like making sure that everything is standardized and all that kind of stuff to try to make it
Mm-hmm.
safer. That's the goal. Now, obviously,
Yeah.
people that are going against the law don't think that there should be, because they think that it's, oh, well, it's not just that. Well, there's reasons for crap to be there, so
There are reasons for regulations
there's
like these,
reasons
so you
usually for
don't blow your
regulations.
face off.
So you don't blow your face off. Anyway,
Yeah.
um, in was it last? So yeah, there was that fireworks explosion in Hawaii. Um, Hawaii recently put out a report uh, that found that fireworks smuggling into the islands um, is they say that it's a year-round thing, and they could be coming in on a
Mm.
daily basis. So illegal
Oh
fireworks
wow.
are possibly coming into the country on a daily basis, um, and they're so valuable that it's like a 5-to-1 ratio. So $200,000 worth of regular fireworks is worth $1 million on the street. So they're extremely valuable too, which I guess is
That's
why it's such a
crazy.
like high making thing. Um,
Hmm. Is there like a
in
fireworks cartel? Like, how do
I'm
people get
guessing,
these
yeah,
in?
yeah, there is, because obviously they are last year in San Francisco, uh, not too long before Fourth of July, so around June, May. I didn't see an actual date,
Mm-hmm.
but not too. It says just ahead of the Fourth of July. Um,
Mm-hmm.
Authorities in California made the largest bust in California history of illegal fireworks, and found 75 tons of illegal fireworks, was estimated to be worth $10 million.
Oh my gosh.
So it's a problem, obviously, and
Yeah.
it's a problem everywhere. Because when I was looking through these articles, I found articles from the Netherlands, found articles from Australia, I found articles from Malaysia, I found articles from everywhere. It is a
Wow.
problem, and I mean, these are obviously dangerous. We hear stories about
Yeah.
people getting hurt. I mean, I work in
There was
news.
one in Kansas City
There
recently.
was one in Kansas City recently.
Yeah, a
There
guy
was
blew up his
a
house.
large explosion in California, two large explosions in California in the last week.
Wow.
One at a warehouse that had 7 people, I think, that were missing after it happened.
Wow.
I haven't heard many updates on that, so I can't give you any
Mm-hmm.
details besides that there was 7 people that were reported
Mm-hmm.
missing after the building just exploded. Um, and then there
That's
was a couple
crazy.
homes recently damaged. Now, I can't say that either one of those were illegal. I mean, the warehouse, I'm
Mm-hmm.
pretty sure, was a fireworks warehouse, so I would
Mm-hmm.
guess that that was not. Again,
Mm-hmm.
have no idea if it is or not. The houses, I have no
Insufficient.
idea. Yes, I have no idea. So,
Hmm.
don't,
It's just
everything
crazy to
with a
me
grain of
because I'm
salt.
like,
So,
is it really worth it? Well, I
yeah.
guess money wise, yeah, we just answered the question that it's worth it money wise, but the desire for fireworks, I can't comprehend because I'm like, why?
Yeah. Well, and also, like, the CPSC last year, um, 14,000 people. This is from the CPSC. So 14,700 people were treated in the ER for fireworks related injuries. 11
That's
people
crazy.
11 people died in the United States. So,
I mean,
and that's just what you know about. Like, I'm sure there was other people that were hurt that didn't go to the hospital because they were like, "Oh,
yeah.
this isn't that bad." Um,
Also, that thank you to nurses,
yes,
doctors, like,
yes,
oh my gosh, that would be horrible.
yeah.
Like,
So,
I can't even imagine treating people like, obviously they, can't discriminate the people they treat and
yeah,
everything, but I can't imagine how frustrated I would be. Like, this is the fourth person I've treated today that's blown off their thumb. Like, I would
yep,
be so annoyed.
yep. Oh yeah,
I'd be so annoyed.
yep.
Ugh,
And
crazy.
that takes us to the environmental impact of
Mhm.
things blowing up all over the place. Um, according to so there the EPA, according to the
Hmm.
EPA, fireworks uh, emit a lot of different chemicals. So you've got sulfur dioxide, nitrogen oxide, other things like that, and they emit them in what in measurements that are microns, 2.5 microns, which is like
Hmm.
2.5 millionths of a meter. So tiny, tiny, tiny
Okay.
little particles. Problem
Hmm.
is when you breathe these in, they can get into your lungs and they can cause things like
Hmm.
COPD. They can cause heart and lung disease, or they can exacerbate
Hmm.
different conditions like that. So they can cause us conditions, which is not good.
Yeah.
You're breathing in chemicals like that, which is not good. So, a study in the journal Atmospheric Environment in 2015 found that, and fireworks displays, like after fireworks, displays go off and stuff like that, those levels of those particles can rise as much as 42%
Oh, wow.
uh, after a fireworks celebration. So,
Wow.
and they did surveys at 315 different sites across the United States and found and in fact came up with that number.
Thanks. So
So
that's like a good sample
that's a good
size.
sample size. And according to the American Pyrotechnics Association, which you mentioned earlier, there's
Yeah.
about 14,000 public displays across the United States every year. So
Wow.
lots and lots of public displays. And
That's crazy.
not only does it affect us, because, I mean, if you
Hmm.
go to a fireworks display, you see the big cloud of smoke, you walk through the big cloud of smoke, you
Yeah.
smell the fireworks, all that kind of stuff.
Hmm.
Obviously, it's not good for you to breathe in smoke no matter what it is, but when it's filled with, it's not good for you. We all know that it's not good for
Hmm.
you. Um, the other thing that you have is the chemicals that end up in the ground and in the water. So,
Hmm.
in from 1999 to 2009, they used to do. It doesn't say. It says 1999 to 2009 they did fireworks displays at Mount Rushmore. It
Mm.
doesn't say that they still do them. It just says 1999 to 2009. So I don't know if they stopped
Hmm.
or if that's just where they did them. But that's what I. This is what this article says.
Hmm.
This was from. I think this one was from Time magazine. Um,
No, they only do it like every 10 years.
okay, so after 2009, they did studies from 2011 to 2015. The USGS did, and they did samples from the earth, dirt, and the water in the area,
Hmm.
from 106 different sites, or from sorry, oh, sorry, they did 106 different water tests and 11 different soil
Hmm.
tests from where they
Okay.
used to shoot off fireworks in that around Mount Rushmore,
Hmm.
um, and they found elevated levels of contaminants in the water, even 6 years after they had stopped shooting off fireworks in those areas.
Hmm.
So
Wow.
there's still contamination that lingers a little bit there too, which is, and I don't
Yeah.
know, it doesn't really tell me how much contamination there is. It just says that they still showed contamination.
They can still measure
They
it.
can still measure it,
Mm.
which, I mean, the USGS is going to have pretty high tech equipment, so I'm sure they can measure pretty small amounts, but I
Yeah.
don't, it doesn't, again, it doesn't tell me how much, so I can't really say to
Hmm.
that. But um,
Yeah. Ugh.
the
That makes
one,
my heart hurt
yeah, the one thing
for the world.
that I do think now, I think is going to help, um, is, and I did see at the end of this article too that it talked about was now your technology is getting better, so you could start using drones and laser shows and things like that to
Mm-hmm.
compensate for stuff like that, and maybe not have as much um, fireworks
Yeah.
and things that
Yeah.
could cause as much damage. Because a drone show, you can do drone shows. The drones, if you've seen
Mm-hmm.
those drone shows, they're pretty cool looking. Like you
Mm-hmm.
can make different images and things with the drones up in the air. Now,
Yeah.
I did see a drone show in Florida not real long ago where a bunch of them fell out of the sky, which is kind of scary. But it's
Yeah.
a firework. I've
I
also
mean,
seen fireworks
yeah.
exploding on the ground too, and
Mm-hmm.
that's just as scary. So I don't. It's
Mm-hmm.
just what it is.
Yeah.
But yeah. Anyway, not to be I don't.
I think everyone should just stay home.
Yeah. Or here, just be safe. Go to a
Yeah.
public display. That way we have less fireworks contamination because we're not all doing it ourselves, and you don't blow
Mm-hmm.
your own fingers off trying to play with fireworks.
Yeah, I like that.
I was looking at something else with the dangers because most of a
Hmm.
lot of the fireworks injuries, not most, but a lot of them are burns.
Yeah.
And a lot of them are kids because they play with
Hmm.
sparklers. Sparklers are one of the
That's how I burn myself.
most dangerous when it comes to burns because what is the I don't remember what it was, but it there was a scale and it was glass. It said that glass melts at 900 degrees and
Hmm.
sparklers burn at 1200, so 300 degrees more than it takes to melt glass, which is kind
Hmm.
of crazy that you're
That
just
is
holding that and
crazy.
spinning it around in the air like you got a 4-year old that's spinning around a flame that's hotter than melting
Hmm.
glass in the air.
I had a scar on my stomach for a long time.
I mean,
Yeah.
I enjoyed playing with them too as a kid. Like I'm not gonna say that I
Hmm.
didn't, but that's you think about that and that's kind of
Okay.
terrifying.
I didn't, but my parents made I'm sure I had fun. I mean, I was a kid. Yeah, I'm sure I had fun doing the little tanks and the little snakes and
Yeah,
things, but not like crazy. It was not my burning passion to go out and, do fireworks as a
yeah,
kid. So, but nowadays I just get so annoyed, mostly for the animals
yeah.
because
They don't like them.
2 years ago, no, they don't like them. 2 years ago, in the neighborhood we were living in Columbia, these people down the street for us, they were drunk, celebrating 4th of July, whatever, fine, do what
What
you
else
want.
is new? Yeah.
But they let their dog outside, their tiny dog outside, not on a tether, not on anything. They don't have a fence. They let it out to go to the bathroom like normal. But fireworks started going off. That dog ran, we were like 10 houses down from these people. Their dog ran by our door. I sprinted to catch the dog, bring it back, and they did the same thing again. And I'm like, I can't stand people. This is why I
Yeah.
think animals are better than humans,
Oh yeah.
and they do not deserve us because idiots like that let their dog outside twice during a fireworks show.
Yeah.
So mad. That's why I get annoyed. And then
Yeah.
if I was a nurse, which I'm not, but I would also be very annoyed if I had to work 4th of July.
Yeah. On a
I'd be very
yeah.
annoyed at
In the
humans.
ER. Yeah. Yeah,
We're
that
pretty
would be a
stupid. As a
yeah, we are.
race, we're pretty
We are
stupid.
very stupid. We're very intelligent, but we're also very stupid. Yes.
Yes. Yeah. Anyways. Well,
Uh
I have do you want to do a 4th of July pop quiz
sure.
to
Let's
round
do
us out
this.
here?
Yes.
So I asked ChatGPT. I said, I want to quiz my friend about 4th of July trivia. And ChatGPT said, here's a fun and challenging 4th of July trivia pop quiz you can use to quiz your friend. It
Okay.
includes a mix of history, pop culture, and quirky facts.
Okay. This ought
So,
to be
all right,
interesting. How many questions
here we
is
go.
this? How many questions do we have here?
There's 10 questions. I'm not going to do them all though. Actually,
Okay.
like one of them is like my fun fact. So
Oh,
I'm not
okay.
going to do all of them,
Okay.
but let's do five.
Okay.
So, okay. All right. First one. Hopefully this is easy. It's not a trick question.
Okay.
What year was the Declaration of Independence adopted?
Adopted?
Yeah,
I mean, are we?
signed.
I mean, well, 1776 is what it's supposed to be, but yeah.
Yeah, yeah. That's why I said it's not a trick question. It
Yeah, I was
sounds
gonna
like it, but it's
say,
not.
what was the other year? 1782 or something like that, I think, or something like that. There's another.
That was the Constitution, right?
I don't.
When was the Constitution? 1800s? Hold on. Now I look stupid. When was the Constitution signed? 1787. Okay, no, we're right.
Okay.
Yeah. Because the Declaration of Independence, it was like 20 years and then or 10 years and then we needed something else.
Yeah.
Um yeah, so no, 1776. That was the right answer.
All
That's
right.
why I said it's not a trick question. It
Okay.
sounds like it, but it's not.
Yeah, because next year's 250 years, so.
Yeah. Okay. Um I don't think you're gonna get this, but I'll give you some multiple choice.
Okay. Can I try? Let me try
Which
it. We'll if I need multiple choice, I'll ask, but we'll see if I can get it
okay.
without it first.
All right. All right. Which US president was born, not died, but was born on the 4th of
Oh,
July?
I don't have a clue. No, you'll have to
Okay.
give me a multiple choice on this.
Well, I'll give you some multiple choice. Okay. Thomas Jefferson,
Okay.
John
Uh
Adams,
huh.
Harry Truman,
Okay.
Calvin Coolidge.
I want to say John Adams, but I don't know.
Nope. It
No,
was Calvin Coolidge.
really? Okay. Well,
He
I'll have
was
to.
born July 4th, 1872. He's a president I feel like I don't know anything about.
Yeah, I don't really know anything about him either.
Okay.
Kind of forget that he
What's
was a president.
right?
He's one
I
of those
sing him in my
ones.
song
He's
when
one
I
of
go
those
through the
ones in the
list.
yeah. He's one of those ones in the middle that I forget that wasn't
hmm
president. You know.
Yeah,
So
that's so bad. Sorry, Calvin Coolidge, if you
I
have any
mean,
family still living that listen
it's
to our podcast.
it's been 250 years. Like I
I
wasn't
know.
around. I haven't been around for the majority of that. So
Yeah. Okay. Last three questions. All right. What meat is most commonly consumed on the 4th of July?
hot dogs.
Yes.
Okay. Woohoo.
Yeah.
I mean, I know they have the hot dog eating contest. Nathan's has the hot dog eating
Yeah.
contest. So
Also, those are such good hot dogs.
I'm not a
But it says
Nathan's. I'm
Americans.
not a Nathan's fan, but you know, each to
You're
their
not?
own. No, I'm not. I don't like the
Um,
snap. They got that coating on them, and I don't
oh
care for that.
yeah. Well, the concession stand at one of the softball parks that I work at has all beef Nathan's hot dogs. They're massive. They don't have that same coating. So I'm sure they have different types of hot dogs too.
Probably, yeah,
But they are so good. They're like the size of a bratwurst.
yeah.
They're all beef. They're amazing. So good.
Sounds
It's
good.
like I can't finish it.
Yeah,
Um, but this says Americans eat about 150 million hot dogs on the 4th of July. Yeah.
that's. I
Okay.
mean, that's less than one. That's less than half a hot dog a person
Yeah.
when you base it on the population. So that's actually not that many when you think about it. But that's it's a lot of hot
I
dogs.
know.
But considering Joey Chestnut eats like 75 by himself today, you know, that's not really that many hot dogs. Like.
Yeah. I really want to. We don't have any hot dogs, and now I really want one. We're gonna have to go to Sonic or something.
I have hot dogs. I actually
Do
probably will
you?
have a hot dog later today because it sounds good.
Yeah. Um. Okay. What's the name of the national anthem of the United States? Not a trick question.
Um, why am I blanking on this? Uh, it's a Star Spangled Banner, isn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah.
Yep.
Why
That's
was?
why I was like, it's not. These sound like trick
Yeah.
questions. Some of
I
these
was
do, but they're
blanking
not.
on that. What was I? I was thinking of the I was thinking the Stars and Stripes Forever. That's what I was thinking.
Yeah,
Like the thing that you play in
that's
band
what
that's
plays in
like,
my head.
yeah, but I know that's
Yeah.
not the name of it. But yeah, it just took me a
Hmm.
second. I was like, that doesn't seem
Yeah,
right.
John
Okay.
Philip Sousa.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay, last question.
Okay.
Which city hosts the largest 4th of July fireworks display in the United States?
Um, is this a trick question?
No.
Okay. I mean, I would guess New York.
Hmm.
Okay.
Yep, you mentioned it earlier, the Macy's.
Yeah, Macy's. Okay. Um, I didn't know if like Philly did something crazy or something, or if like some random city did
Hmm.
something stupid big or something like that. But you never know.
Yeah.
Um, so yeah. Okay. Interesting. Macy's is the biggest one.
Yeah.
Yeah. Fun.
Hmm.
Hey, I did pretty well. I only got one wrong.
Yeah.
I'm gonna
Yeah, that was good.
give myself a thumbs up for that one.
Yeah, and the one you got wrong was very random. I mean, Calvin Coolidge, come on. I wouldn't have known
Yeah,
that.
which one was born on the 4th of July? That's an interesting.
Hmm.
That's yeah. I mean,
Yeah.
what is there was
My fun
something.
fact is about the ones who died on 4th of July, but that was born.
Okay, I think that means it's let's do fun facts. I think it's time for fun
Okay.
facts. Okay, go for it, Nick.
All right. So, like I just said, um, my fun fact is about there's three presidents that have all passed away on July 4th. Now, in different years, but all
Mm-hmm.
on July 4th.
Yeah.
John Adams,
Oh, okay. Yep.
Thomas Jefferson, and James Monroe.
Okay.
And I'm pretty sure both John Adams and Thomas Jefferson both signed the Declaration. Pretty sure.
I
I
think
think
you're
so.
right. Yeah.
James Monroe was
Yeah, I think
later.
he was later. Pretty sure he was later.
Madison Monroe. Yeah, he was a little bit later. Yeah. But interesting that three presidents have all passed away on July 4th. And then we had the one that was born on July 4th. So when you think of like the grand scheme of things, what are we on? 40,
7. Well,
47?
he's been president twice, and there's been a couple that have done that. So, I think
Yeah.
40, some 45, 47, something like that. Um,
Yeah. So
yeah.
that's pretty interesting that four presidents of those have either been
But
born or passed away on July 4th.
if you think about it, there's actually a math problem to this that I can find really quick. Hopefully, if here it is. Um, I don't know if I can find it fast enough. But there is a like
What
yeah.
star sign are
So
you if you're July 4th?
so this would kind of go along with the birthdays of like having the same birthday, because if you
Mm-hmm.
die on the same day, it's the same number. Like you have the same number of days that you can die on that you can be born on. So if you have a room of 23 people,
Mm-hmm.
the math behind it works out
Mm-hmm.
that if you have a room of 23 people, there is a 50% chance that two of them will have the same birthday.
That's weird. That doesn't seem right.
I know, but that's how the math works out. Now,
Hmm.
it's not 50% that you will have the same birthday as somebody else. It's that two of them in the room will have the same birthday.
Yeah. Interesting.
But it only takes 23 people to get to that number, which is kind of crazy considering there's 365 days in a year. But,
Yeah.
so, I mean, by that number, 23, you get a 50% shot of it. Well, we've had double that of presidents.
Huh.
So, you just halved that on what days they could die. So, yeah, I mean,
Yeah.
it's not.
Interesting.
It's a little of a bit of a statistical anomaly, but not really that crazy, I guess. So
Yeah. Interesting. You want to know what's even more interesting?
what?
People born on July 4th are cancers,
Okay,
and cancers are strong-willed, determined, but fair.
okay.
And then it also goes on to say, July 4th individuals are generally regarded as leaders by people in their circle of friends, and they may even seem somewhat distant because of their attitude of authority.
Hmm. Interesting.
Makes sense. Now, did they make that horoscope because presidents have been born on July 4th, or
I don't know.
I don't know,
What
but
was
they're
Coolidge? What
cancers.
was Coolidge like?
I don't know.
Uh, anyway, okay. So, my fun fact is a Disney fact
Mm.
because I'm a Disney adult, and everybody knows this. Um, so, uh, according to the Boardwalk Times, Disney's the Magic Kingdom, the Happily Ever After fireworks show, which is the current nightly fireworks show in the Magic Kingdom. They do it
Hmm.
every day. There are
Hmm.
instances where they can't, but
Hmm.
well, actually, there's not really instances where they can't. They do it pretty much every day. Um, because and I'll tell you why they do it every day, even if they can't, even if, like I said, they can't. Um, it cost Disney $40,000 to $50,000 a night to put on that fireworks show,
Wow.
which means Disney, across all of its parks, spends about $50 million a year to put on fireworks displays.
Wow. I wonder how much that is compared to the profit they bring in. Like, what is $40,000 compared to what they bring in each day? That would be interesting to know.
Well, considering the park has, I would say, a capacity of probably several thousand, like that many thousand people at least, 50,000 people at
Hmm.
least. If you took $1 out of every ticket you paid for the fireworks show and they're charging $105 to $130 a ticket, it's nothing.
Hmm. This says Disney World brings in 35 million a day.
Disney World, that wouldn't surprise me.
Wow.
Think of
That's
all the
crazy.
think of all the hotels, food, park tickets.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. Okay, that
Because you've
would make
got
more sense.
4 theme parks, you've got
Yeah.
2 water parks. You've got 30 or 20 resort hotels. You've got food out the wazoo. Yeah, they're raking in the dough for sure.
So they spend 0.00114%
Yeah.
on fireworks.
Now that's just at one park.
If that's right.
They do fireworks, those
Hmm.
type of fireworks displays at 2 parks every night. So basically they're spending
Yeah.
100 grand pretty much on fireworks every night, which is
Probably still not even 1%.
no. No, you said 0.001% is what you said, so it'd be
Yeah.
point
Well,
three.
and that's if, the numbers I
Yeah.
found are right. So that's why I
So
said probably not.
yeah, but why? The reason that I say that they do them every night, even if they can't,
Hmm.
is the only reason they don't do them is for weather. Basically, is if they can't because of
Oh.
weather. The problem is though is even if there is weather that causes them
Hmm.
to cancel the fireworks, which is wind or thunderstorms or something like that,
Yeah.
they will still shoot off the fireworks even if the park is closed because they can't leave them loaded in the system. So they will
Gotcha.
they will at like 2 o'clock in the morning shoot off a bunch of fireworks just to get them out of their like
That's
out of
crazy.
their system just so that they're not there anymore.
If you think about what we talked about earlier with the impact on the water and everything
Yeah,
near Mount Rushmore,
there's a
I hope
lot.
Disney has
Yeah,
a good water filtration
yeah,
system.
yeah.
Yikes.
Yeah, they're doing a lot of not great things for the fireworks are doing a lot of not great things for the environment out there. They're trying other
Hmm.
things to hopefully impact that, but
Hmm.
their their fireworks are not one of them. We'll put it that way. But
Yeah.
yeah. Anyway, I think that's it for this week. Nick, do you have anything else?
Nope.
Okay. We hope you guys had fun with this. Happy 4th of July. It's already over, but we hope you guys had a nice 4th of July and you still have
Hmm.
all 10 fingers,
Yeah.
toes, no horribly disfigured damages anywhere after the holiday, and you continue to stay safe. So,
Yep.
um, yeah, happy 4th of July. Uh,
Happy 4th of
Happy
July.
4th of July. Don't forget to like, subscribe, comment, and we'll talk to you guys next week.
Bye.